Baruch Dayan HaEmet, we praise the Judge of Truth. Everyone has a cell phone, so would you please turn it off or set it to stun or put it to do not disturb, something like that? Because someone doesn't know you're here and is going to call you, and they can't give you the score of the Tribe game because we beat the Yankees last night. Everybody likes to beat the Yankees. But somebody doesn't know you're here and will call, and you're like, no one's going to call me. It happens every service. So just turn it off. The service is only going to be an hour and a half long, so don't worry about it. You won't really miss much. Baruch Dayan HaEmet, we praise the Judge of Truth. We gather to do this service for our dear Eileen, and so begin with Psalm 121. Asa enai el haharim me'ayin yavo Ezri. Ezri me'im Adonai aseh shamayim va'aretz. Al yitain lamot raglecha, al yanum shomrecha. Hine lo yanum velo yishan shomer Yisrael. Adonai shomrecha, Adonai tzircha ad yad yaminecha. Yomam hashemesh lo yekaka v'yarech b'layla. Adonai yishmarcha mikol ra yishmoret nafshecha. Adonai yishmar tzedcha v'uecha. Me'ata va'ad olam. I lift up mine eyes unto the mountains, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, maker of heaven and earth. The Lord will not let your foot give way. Your protector will not slumber. See, the protector of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. The Lord is your guardian. He is your protection at your right hand. The sun will not strike thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will guard you from all harm. He will guard your soul, your going and your coming, now and forever. Death has taken our beloved, our dear Ilene Bloch. Friends grieve in their darkened world. In their silence there is lamentation. In their tears there is loneliness. Lost in their sorrow, may they find the presence of loving friends. Hear them, O God, and be with them. For Eileen's love that united so many people in life and which death cannot sever. For her companionship that we shared along life's path and which continues through the tenderness of memory. For the gifts of her heart and mind which brought joy and happiness and are now a precious remembrance. For all of these and more, we give our thanks to God. It is a time of grief. It is a time of sadness. And so we listen to the voice of our sacred scriptures, once again from Sefer Tehillim. It brings us the ever-new message of God's nearness. It tells us of our kinship with the Creator, in light as in darkness, in joy as in sorrow, in life as in death. Together let us recite the 23rd Psalm in English. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. We have a couple of eulogies this morning. We begin with Eileen and Mickey's son, Michael.
I want to start by expressing my sincerest gratitude for the outpouring of love and support my family has felt these last few days. And as represented by the presence in this room, and even more, I know are following on live stream. I am humbled by the deepest expressions of care and condolences from all our family and friends. Thank you. I can't say that enough. Thank you. My mom, Eileen, was a special lady. She was born to my Zadie and my Bubby, each Holocaust survivors who sought refuge in Cleveland, Ohio, and built a better life for themselves from nothing. Because of their experiences in the war, they never lost sight of the most important thing in their lives, their family. Growing up in Cleveland, my mom was the middle of an elder and younger sister, a niece to aunts and uncles, one of 21 first cousins. My mom was so proud of her family, who were also her best friends. My mom and my dad met in grade school, and as they sought to build their own family, and so I came along. As an only child, it's technically just me, but it's never really just me. For all intents and purposes, my mom actually was related to about half the east side of Cleveland. My mom's cousins grew their families, and even those who relocated to the West Coast or East Coast always remained close. We shared Friday night Shabbat dinners at my Bubby's, weddings and B'nai Mitzvahs, and so many more memories. Memories rooted in Jewish values and customs. Each time we get together, no matter how much time passes in between, we pick up exactly where we left off. Then my family grew too. I met my wife Amber and first introduced her to my family at none other than Friday night Shabbat dinner at Bubby's. Nothing has made me more proud than growing my own family, and sharing the gift of 4 grandsons with my parents. We all move through life quickly, and there's a lot of fleeting moments that pass us by as we inherently forget along the way. Forgetfulness is a relative term as I stand here to remember my mom, and I will make sure that I remember my mom. I will always remember the smiles she shared with every person to whom she crossed paths. Everything about my mom was genuine and sincere. There wasn't an ounce of hidden agenda about her. She could strike up a conversation with anyone, and her motive was always clear. I want to learn about you. Tell me more about you. My mom always asked how you were doing, asked about your family, and never forgot to send a handwritten birthday card that promptly arrived in the mail on the exact birthday. As a child, I remember my mom taking me around from sport to sport, school to temple, appointment to appointment. She knew everyone, and everyone knew her. In addition to her smile, my mom was deeply affectionate, always extending her arms for a greeting and goodbye hug before and after every interaction. When she knew you were there, she said hello and always said goodbye. I want to pause on that for a moment. When she knew you were there. I think many of you know how hard these last several years have been. Watching a loved one, let alone a parent, suffer from a debilitating and uncontrolled disease like dementia is not easy. Yet I can only be purposeful in remembering the good times and remembering the experiences I was able to share with my mom. Most recently, we celebrated my oldest son's bar mitzvah in July. My mom was there in body and spirit, and she navigated the dance floor and handed out hugs aplenty. I spent this past Saturday evening with my mom, knowing in the moment it would precede her departure, and we were surrounded by family and simcha in the spirit of wishing Aunt Mindel a safe trip to California. When I got the call on Sunday evening from my dad, I wanted to believe the situation would resolve itself, but I realized that was not the case, and I hopped in the car to be here with her. Amber and I have always been believers in those who wait, and I know my mom waited for me. My dad and I were there together when she took her last breath. It wasn't just me, and it wasn't just her, but it was us as a family. I knew she knew it, and I know she will remember that. I will not forget the great memories. I will not forget the person she embodied. I will not forget my mom. As much as our parents teach us, no one prepares us for moments like this that are only made possible to get through with the love and support in this room and those who have extended their thoughts and prayers from near and far. I am beyond thankful for the outpouring of support and love, and please know I will always remember it. Thank you.
And to those words spoken as a prayer, let us say amen. Niece Morgan is coming forward to speak about her dear aunt.
Whew. Hi, everybody. Oh, Auntie Nini, how can you no longer be here? Your smile, your big white eyes, always wondering, always curious, always loving. You gave me that smile on Saturday night, as Michael just said. I didn't know it was the last time I would get to see you, though. From the time I was a little girl, I remember you coming to visit us in California. You were very close to my mom, Sandy, and would come to visit us often. Then when we moved to Ohio, you and Uncle Mickey were instrumental in making sure we settled in. Spending time together, Friday night dinners at Bubby's, all of the holidays and block parties. When I was little, I thought it was called a block party because your last name was Bloch.
That's great.
Time moves so fast, and it's not until something happens that we stop and we reflect. I will never forget you telling me not to drink out of soda cans because bugs peed on them. I must have told that story 1,000 times. Or when I asked you if I could call you Aunt Eileen instead of Auntie Nini, and you said, of course, but everyone just calls me Nini. That nickname came from your little sister Leah because she couldn't say Eileen, and it just stuck. Everyone in this room, I'm guessing, knew you as Nini, just like I did. What an amazing life you led, from being raised by Holocaust survivors to meeting your husband in 6th grade and living your whole life by his side. You made your great nieces laugh all the time. They loved playing with their Auntie Nini, and I will treasure the times they got to spend with you. My daughter Nellie just told me that on Saturday night, the last time we saw you, she sat next to you and she got you a Shirley Temple to match hers, and she sneaked you an extra slice of cake. You made a lasting impression on all of them, even if you didn't know it. I know these last few years were tough. Your disease took a lot away from you. But one thing it never took was your smile and your love of life. Gosh, we'll miss you so much, Nini. So very, very, very much. Thanks.
And also to those words spoken as a prayer, let us say, Amen. Our lives, in large part, are measured by how we react to the cards we have been dealt. Some of us look at the cards in our hands and find an abundance of things to kvetch about. And then when we meet someone like Ilene Bloch, we're forced to reconsider the things about which we kvetch, or we should be forced to reconsider the things about which we kvetch. She was constantly curious. She had a childlike curiosity. She made you smile. She made you laugh. She was a consistent force for goodness and kindness. She had big, expressive eyes. She always talked about growing up with her 19 first cousins, and now I hear 21. I don't know. As we talked about this, there was 19. She always talked about 19, they said. She loved to talk about getting together with a large extended family. Monday afternoon, as Mickey and Helen and Sandy and Michael and Leah and Marty talked about Eileen, it was a reminder of a great story in the Talmud. Anybody who knows the Talmud will be appreciative of this story. It comes from Ta'anit 22a. Rabbi Yochanan ben Baroka lived in the 2nd century. So this is Rabbi Yochanan ben Baroka. He was a saintly rabbi who constantly pondered the great mysteries of life and the inscrutable secret of life beyond the grave. And one day, Rabbi Yochanan ben Baroka was walking through the town market, and he was engrossed in his ponderings, and he came into direct spiritual communication with Eliyahu Hanavi, with Elijah the prophet. Elijah the prophet, whom we invite to the Passover Seder, the Pesach Seder, who's supposed to be the forerunner of the Messianic time, universal brotherhood and sisterhood and peace. The very same Elijah. So Rabbi Yochanan ben Baroka is looking at the town square, and he asks Eliyahu, he says, will any of these people in the marketplace share the bliss of the world to come after they and I have died? And Eliyahu points to a couple of people on the far side of the market square, and it says they were entertaining others with their playfulness. Rabbi Yochanan ben Baroka exclaimed, what? These simple performers are to be my companions in Olam Haba, in the world to come? What merits do they possess? And Elijah answers, they have joyful, fun-loving spirits that brighten up the hearts of others. And in so many ways, those are the blessings of your dearly departed Eileen. She was born Eileen Weiss, June 3rd, 1952, Mount Sinai Hospital here in Cleveland. Mount Sinai of blessed memory, as we all know. She was born there, June 3rd, 1952. She was the middle of three girls, of Martin and Goldie, both of blessed memory. She's survived by her sisters Sandy and Leah and son-in-law Marty. Brother-in-law Marty. She went to Brush High School. Eileen met Mickey Bloch a long time ago. As you heard, they met at 6th grade camp. And then she went to Brush High School. You go to Brush High School too? All right, there you go. Mickey, you have been a lifelong companion. You have been incredible in so many ways. And Mickey and Eileen married May 29th, 1977 at Green Road Synagogue. Rabbis Melvin Grandenstein and Isidore Pickholz of blessed memory did the ceremony. It was a long time ago. They shared a loving and caring marriage of 47 years, devoted to one another. Mickey said she never complained about anything. She was never discouraged about anything. She was very content and easygoing, and she always had a fascination about things. And when you know this, she would come up to you and ask you how you were, and she was really looking at you. She wasn't looking at the person next to you, looking at a cell phone. She was really looking at you. Eileen and Mickey were blessed with family, their favorite son, Michael, Michael's wife, Amber, and then the grandsons, Eddie and Garrett and Toby, Niall. Pretty close. And those are twin boys. And Eddie apparently is going to be in the big leagues one day, so we've got some baseball tickets coming. I mean, you're only 13 now, no pressure. Be nice to have another Jewish guy in the bigs. She was an aunt to 8. She had a Mickey's sister, Helen, and then she has an aunt to 8, Ryan and Morgan and Courtney and Allison, Zachary, Mitchell, Eric, and Jeffrey. And then a great aunt to many, too many to name, and then lots of first cousins. Until her last breath, she was 100% devoted to Mickey and Michael. She hugged everyone. Everybody was a cousin. No one was a stranger. She had a fascination with, and she loved, the royal family. The fact that no one was a stranger is a beautiful attribute. She would make you and anyone else that she met feel like you're somebody, you're not just a stranger. It's a wonderful attribute which we should really try to emulate. Mickey, you kept her moving in the right direction. You've been a caring and devoted husband and caregiver, and your love and care of your dear Eileen has been and will be a continued inspiration to everyone who witnessed it. A joyful light, a joyful spirit has physically extinguished among us. Late Sunday night at the hospital, she breathed her last, and she was accompanied by loved ones. And now she is at peace Just as Shabbat is a time of rest, so too for Ilene it is a time of rest and peace. Our Jewish tradition believes her soul is returning to God and to be with the souls of her dear parents and relatives and friends and ancestors of our people. We learn this in Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 7. The dust returns to the earth as it was. The spirit returns to God who gave it. One day all of us will join our loved ones in Olam Haba, which is an eternal time. It's not a place. This is a place. The cemetery is a place. Olam Haba is an eternal time. Our souls will be together with our loved ones' souls. We're sending along an old prayer book with her and a Haggadah with her in the casket. It's a mitzvah not only to escort the body of your loved one to its final resting place, but also holy books of our tradition. And so we are sending along the prayer book and the Haggadah in particular, because Pesach is a time when we recall and we give thanks for our ancient liberation from Egyptian slavery. We're freed today because of God's deliverance those many, many years ago. And now, your dear Ilene, your dear Nini, she has been liberated from this illness. And she's been freed of this illness and its restrictions. Your memories are filled to overflowing. And we give thanks to God for this gift of life. And even in our sadness, we're grateful for the time we were blessed with. And as you think of her, bring childlike curiosity. Don't feel foolish about asking a question that might sound like you don't know what you're talking about, because that's why we ask questions. And then share this childlike curiosity. And then maybe even have a Shirley Temple. I don't know how many different ways you make a Shirley Temple, right? Isn't it just Coke and maraschino cherry and maybe some cherry, right? I'm not a real connoisseur of this, but I'm looking forward to it. So share a Shirley Temple, and then do good things in her loving memory. And so we conclude with tears in our eyes, words from the first chapter of the book of Job. Adonai natan v'Adonai lakach, Yehi Shem Adonai mevorach. The Lord hath given, the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. And let us say, Amen. Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, yimru, amen. Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. May God, who causes peace to reign in the high heavens, cause peace to rain down upon us, upon all Israel, upon the soul of our dearly departed Ilene Bloch. And together let us say Amen. After the El Maleh Rachamim prayer, we will go in procession to Zion Cemetery, and we'll recite Kaddish at the grave for the first time. And then we're heading back to the house, heading back to the residence, to Mickey's, 1913 Aldersgate Drive in Lyndhurst. Family will be there until 4 o'clock, and then they're going to breathe for a couple of hours, and then everyone comes back who wants to, from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. I don't know if there will be a minyan. I will ask them, and then we'll see. And then Thursday from 1 to 4 and 6 to 8, and Friday from 1 to 4. If you're not, see that? I said, if I make the service long enough, somebody's phone will ring. If you're not going to the grave with us, and you're just going to meet us back at the house, it's probably about an hour and 15 minutes from now. And she will be on the Kaddish list at Temple Israel Ner Tamid for the next month. Every time we get together, we're saying Kaddish for her. I wish I remember the name of the congregation in Columbus, which I don't, but your rabbi's here. She'll be on the Kaddish list there as well in Columbus and many other places as well. So we'll say Kaddish for her. The family has asked if you wish to make donations, make them to the Kol Israel Foundation, right? To Kol Israel Foundation for the Holocaust survivors and their families. Please rise for El Malei Rachamim. Into your care, O God, we entrust the spirit of Ilene Bloch, Chaya Pero Bat Yechiel Michael Zahava. For you, O God, keep faith with your children in death as in life. Sustain us that we may meet with serenity the mysteries that lie ahead, knowing that when we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you, O God, are with us, a loving friend in whom we put our trust. You are the light of our life, our hope in eternity. El Malei Rachamim, Shochein Bamromim, Hametzeh Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei Hashchina, Im Kedoshim Utohorim, Kezohar Harakim Asirim, Et Nishmat Chaya Pero Bat Yechiel Michael Zahava, Shahalacha Olama Ba'al Harachamim Yastireha B'Seitek Knafav Le'olamim Vayitzroh B'Tzroh HaChaim Et Nishmata Adonai Hu Nachalata V'Tanuach B'Shalom Al Mishkava V'nomar Amen. Compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to Chaya Pero Bat Yechiel Michael Zahava, our dear Ilene Bloch. She has entered eternity. O God of mercy, let her find refuge in the shadow of your wings, and let her soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is her inheritance. May she rest in peace, and let us say, Amen. In a moment, the funeral directors will give us directions as we will go in procession to Zion Cemetery.
temperature turn to the left.